Am I going to do probably a 10-minute video on a 15-minute mini documentary? The answer to that is, of course I am. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Revolution Pro Wrestling and their new mini documentary, How to Start a Revolution, which is available now on YouTube. You can check it out I'll put the link in the video description if you want to check it out after you've listened to my lovely review of this. And in a world where we are starved we used to be eating good. We used to be eating good with the wrestling documentaries. The WWE Network was putting out class documentaries, and now it seems like that's completely gone. In a world where we're just waiting for the dark side of the rings to come out, a wrestling documentary is a bit hard to come by, and seeing one like How to Start a Revolution, which I feel is presenting the positives. It is a feel-good 15 minutes if you watch this documentary compared to your Dark Side of the Rings and your Mr. McMahon documentaries, which aren't exactly pleasant to watch. This is the positive and the just optimistic elements of pro wrestling, and for that reason alone, I loved this. I thought this was so interesting and so cool. But before we dive into that, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to apply to every single one of them as we dive into this. So How to Start a Revolution is a documentary by Graps on Film, directed by Ashley Jaycock, and it is a really good 15-minute snapshot of a time in Rev Pro. This is leading up to the big 12th anniversary show that happened this year before All In, the day before All In, which I was fortunate enough to attend, and seeing it from different aspects, from the build to how it was like put together and how Rev Pro started, was really, really interesting, because I'm not a Rev Pro aficionado. I will hold my hands up to that. So if you are a newbie, hopefully you'll like me and you're going to be along for this crazy journey. But seeing how Rev Pro started, and started guys like Zack Sabre Jr, Will Ospreay, it was really fascinating to watch and see how much that sort of influenced where they're at now. And the way Rev Pro is portrayed as almost like not just a stepping stone to other companies like AEW or New Japan, it is almost like a hub for British wrestling, and it wants to be treated as that. It wants to be treated as the best wrestling in Europe, and I think that's really fascinating to look at when you look at all the different connections, the CMLL connection, the NJPW connection, and like just the AEW connection in general. It is really cool, and it really helps. This documentary really shows the vision of Booker and owner Andy Quildan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I hope not butchering your name. But the way that he approaches this, and the way that he has approached pro wrestling in general since the origins of Rev Pro, is really well structured throughout this documentary, because you have each person, whether it be Zach, whether it be Will, whether it be Michael Oku, all telling their different stories of how they got started in Rev Pro and how that journey led them to where Rev Pro is now. And it is a revolution. It's in the name. It is a revolution in British wrestling. So I think that it really puts that over incredibly well in this documentary. This documentary set out to do like one thing, and that one thing is to give you an insight into how Rev Pro works and what Rev Pro is. I think massive tick. It absolutely delivered in that regard, and the key to this is I want to see more. I think this is such a fascinating snapshot into how a indie show is put together and how an indie promotion works. I just want to see more. Like, if this was like an hour show weekly, I'd be super, super hooked, because you get glimpses and you're like, I want more. You have after the Cutthroat Collective match at the anniversary show. You have Michael Oku after his match with Luke Jacobs after the anniversary show. And I'm like, oh, I want to see more. I want to see more of this. And I think it was so perfectly well done and completely achieves what it set out to do, this is a must watch if you're an independent wrestling fan. There's no other way about it. It's 15 minutes long, for crying out loud. Like, if you can watch an entire indie show, you can watch this documentary and you will understand what Rev Pro is about, what Rev Pro sets out to do, and how Rev Pro is changing the industry. It's a really fascinating documentary, and one that I would highly recommend you go out of your way to check out. I don't want to spoil everything, because there are things in here that maybe you don't know that I don't want to put over, and you should go check it out. So yeah, I think this is a really good documentary. I want to see more. Props to Andy and the team for putting this together and for putting Rev Pro on the map of British wrestling. This was awesome. This was awesome, and a perfect way to spend your time. So please check it out, because it's really cool, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.